Now, good evening, members. Once again, I hope you can see my page. Are you able to see the CV of Engineer Peter Oloo OKAKA?
Yeah.
Now, I will give a brief introduction. Engineer OKAKA has quite big and wide experience, and he has had his academic prowess since 1960 when he joined Goda Simbu in Siaya. Then he went for Cambridge College Certificate, 1964, and then he went for his high school certificate, 1966, and after that he got his bachelor's honors at Nairobi University before proceeding to the United Kingdom, University of Leeds, for his master's in mechanical engineering. Then if you get the CV, which is downloadable from Kenyatta University, you'll be able to see his work experience and where he's been and what he's done. And having worked with OKAKA, I can assure you that he's a very jovial man. Age is a number, but very young at heart, and you will always enjoy working with him. So with no much ado, I would like to allow my co-host Diana to guide us through, because I'm a bit in a noisy place, so that I don't interfere with the people in the background listening. Engineer, welcome. Maybe we will go direct to questions, because engineer, many people know about you. Many people have learned from you. Your CV is everywhere, is downloadable. So we will just go to questions, and then we can get more of you.
Okay, so Ndolo, you want us to start with questions first?
I mean, his background is clear, and anybody who wants to get his CV is not like any other candidates where we were not able to get their CVs easily. His CV is downloadable from Kenyatta University, and you can see what he has done. So we can ask him questions, and anybody who wants to ask questions from his CV can download it from Kenyatta University, School of Engineering, Department of Electrical or other Mechanical Engineering. It's just there, and you can download it easily. So I think we can embark on questions. Maybe I can ask him one question that I'd started with before, and then we see what to do. Engineer, what is your take about the non-transitioning from graduate engineers to professional engineers that is taking place? We have a very big number that is not catered for.
Thank you very much, Ndolo. It is a saddening thing. It's very serious. The figures are available, but there was dispute about the validity of those figures. But at least we have got more than a half of the raw engineering graduates or raw engineering personnel who are not actually registered. For example, the figures which I get from IEK here show me that 1,344, I think, are corporate members, 78 are fellows. And even if the total number is, let's say, 6,000 or 7,000, I know that the number is more as is being claimed. We have got a balance of, I think, about 4,000 people. And with the transition rate at 600, that will take how many years? Nearly 10 years. And this is not acceptable. We have got a situation where so many people have been working for 10, 12, 15 years without actually moving from being graduate engineers to corporate engineers. This is very wasteful for the country. It is very demoralizing for the cream of our society. For you to join an engineering school, at least you have got a B plus or A minus. B plus are the lowest, A minus, and A. Now, this is a person we are frustrating, not to realize his dream in the profession to make meaningful contribution to our economy. It's a very, very sad thing. And there are ways of doing it. If I become president, I would have a crash program. And then I'll have a structured way, in the same way that doctors go through a structured internship with a definite period of time. Let it be 2 years, but let it be definite and let it be structured, so that at the end of it, these people actually join the world of work as professionals who cannot who can now exercise their professionalism unlimited. It's a very sad thing. It is something we...
So how will you manage the crash programs?
Now, I had 2 proposals. I'll talk to the senior engineers when I become president. Then I'll meet the young engineers. We shall be able to compare the notes. Then I get representatives from the old engineers, senior engineers, and the proposals from the young engineers. And a small committee from the young engineers, and we work out a program of tackling this problem on a crash program. Now, how would I do it? And how would I think, give incentive to the engineers? There are 2 issues. I would seek assistance from government. I would seek assistance from the fund which is being lobbied for internship. I would also, I think, talk to IEK to see if that can be waived in terms of, what do you call it, CPD points, which are now pressing on us. And this, I think, is very important. It is more important to me than having international travels of maybe 10 council members going to Melbourne. Travel which looks more touristic than professional. And yet we are crying that, you see, the transition rate, the number of engineers in Uganda and Tanzania are 3 times more than the engineers that we have in Kenya. I think I'll treat this one as utmost. I'll give it first priority. Now, this is very important. Increasing the number of engineers in our midst will actually beef up our productivity. It will, I think, help pull up our GDP. It will increase the ratio of 1 engineer to the number of citizens in the country. In Japan, the ratio is 1 to 500. In America now, I think they're producing, I don't like the figures very much, but what I saw is that nearly 70,000 engineers per year. In China, is it 400 or 600? And once we have got a population of engineers who are actively engaged in productivity and national development, there is nowhere else you can go except up, because engineering is actually the thing on earth. Thank you.
And how about the question to do with the professional registration via research? How viable is it? And another question is, what do you think ails IEK in terms of communication? Because people don't get communication out easily from IEK. Like, for example, you're having election right now. Many people have not seen the rules of engagement. Many people have not seen how the election is going to be handled by the scrutineers.
Thank you very much. There is a basic problem in IEK pertaining to management. They do not have a management structure policy. According to the Constitution, they say that there shall be a council, and the council shall appoint the chief executive. And there is no structure supporting the chief executive formally written out. You see, a constitution is actually a statement of intent. But for years, we have failed out to produce regulations governing various functions as provided for the constitution. For example, we say that in our constitution, there shall be ministries, and the ministry will have what? A permanent secretary. But then, after the president appoints a permanent secretary, there should be a structure under him, a director, deputy secretary, human resource manager, that kind of thing, so that we have a structured support for the system. That one is missing in IEK, and it is something which we urgently need to do. That is why in my manifesto I said restructuring and strengthening the management of IEK to make it easier, I think, to facilitate the service, to make it serve the members better, It's a very serious thing. That structure is not there.
So, thank you, engineer. So, about the gender gap in the engineering field,
Yes.
I would request you to comment about it and how you, as the president of the IEK, would help resolve that. Let me call it ridiculous gender gap in the engineers, in the Kenyan engineers field.
Thank you very much. You know, the population of Kenya, according to the recent census, is 47,500,000. Members of the fair sex, my sisters, aunties, and mothers, are 24 million. That works out to be 50.5 to 6% of our population. Now, if you come up and look at classes which I now teach, in many classes which are about 40, 30, you don't have more than 10% girls, about 8, 6, 4, something like that. Now, if you come to the IEK, I was told yesterday, I don't believe it, that we have got 3 consulting engineers. I think it's civil or something who are women. It is ridiculous for one reason, in that if more than half of your population is not able to participate in economic development and is not going to be actually meaningfully engaged if you are gearing for industrialization because they don't have the skills, you are actually a lame duck. And a special effort should be made in that direction, I think, so that we help the members of the fair sex, the girls, to join the engineering. Now, how would you do it? When I was at the Polytechnic, it worried me when I was principal, so I started a group called WITED, Women in Technical Education, under Faith Lumonya. We made a modest progress, but we're only an institution. My stand in my take is this. I will devolve IEK, and I will diversify it up to county level. We shall have activities which will inform the girls of the benefits and values of and virtues of engineering. We shall have activities. We shall have essays. We shall actually go around in the same way that the president is now going around in celebrating what we call Madaraka Day. I'll not be having President's Ball at Intercontinental Hotel or Hilton Hotel. I'll go to Narok. I'll go to Kajiado. I'll go down there and I'll be seen as an engineer who is successful, to be emulated by the people down there, so that when they go to classes, they should be able to aim to be like me. During our 844 days, if I may give you a parallel, girls' schools were doing religious education, nature study, health science, and so they were not able to become doctors. That one thing, you can say anything about 844 that it did, it revolutionized, it reformed the curriculum so that everybody did maths, physics, and chemistry. And this gave girls opportunity, at least now, to come up. We need to have the same thing. We need to have the same thing now, but the curriculum has no problem. So we need to go down there and talk to them and mentor them, provide essays to be written, put games, put competitions, put scientific conferences or technological conferences so that we actually put this technological culture at the base. It is worrying me very much. It's worrying me very much because it is hurting our economy. Now, number two, it is also, I think, marginalizing girls, because if we are gearing for industrialization and only 8 of them are doing engineering, and industrialization depends on engineering, so 8 out of 24 million people will actually gain jobs through this system. It is something which is not a joke, and people are taking it lightly. We can say that, you see, talking about Maendeleo and Awake, say, let us have 30% women managers in engineering. But if they are what? If they are only 3, where will you get the 30%? It is a good idea, but my take is that let us first of all provide the base, and they should even be 80% or 60%. After all, if they are 50.5 to 6%, why should we limit it to 30%? Let us develop their capacity, and let us make an effort from the grassroots. It is actually an emergency. And so instead of me worrying about the ball at Hilton Hotel, I would go down there. Me worrying about taking a few council members to Melbourne to attend the World Federation of Engineers, using half of the money which we got from Mombasa during the conference, I would use that money to build this base. I would use this money to build this base, to travel around, to let them come, to give them scholarships, and to promote them in any way possible so that actually they get the word, as it is said in the Bible, so that they don't just look and not see. You see, listen and not hear. We should make that one happen, because after what is happening to other girls in other countries, our girls are not different, our women are not different. And in any case, what worries me is that long time ago, it is the women who were in charge of production. They were in charge of farms, they were in charge of milking cows, they were doing the work which we were regarded as dirty, but formed the bedrock of our economy. Now, with the new type of education, they are now painting their nails, and you see, they are not doing engineering. There's something, I think there was some distortion or miscommunication to the detriment of our economic base, professional development. Maybe I've talked too much, madam, but it worries me very much.
Yeah, I get you, and I agree with you. The base is what is important. Before I can give someone else a chance, Engineer Ndolo is asking, what is your take on the existence of the Engineering Technology Act and Engineers Act within the same country? What is your take on the existence of engineering in the same country?
I'm very sad about that one also. Those who did, I think, history a long time ago, I think it is balkanization of the engineering profession. It's creating a situation such that we are divided so that we can't have a focus. This situation happened in Nigeria, and I think they will now come together. The situation also happened, is it in Malaysia or Indonesia? Does now come together. It was the fault of IEK, I think EBK, even up to now, Engineers Act of 2011, I think, does not include technologies and and technicians. I'll go out of my way to see that we come together again. I'm confident that the man heading EBK now is a professional of no mean repute, very level-headed man, Engineer Mongera, my very close friend for the last maybe 40 years or something. And I'll talk to him personally. We shall talk to engineers. We shall hold meetings at all levels. We shall start with eminent engineers. We shall go to audit the young engineers. We shall go to government. I would still like it to be one to operate under one act. Because after all, how does an engineering operate? An engineer operate? One engineer may be to 3 technologies, to 5 technicians, don't worry about these numbers, and then artisans. But if they are not under one legal instrument, so that there is progression in growth. I would go out of my way to see if the two could come together again. It was not a very bitter divorce because nobody was consulted, but it was a reaction, I think, from the technologies in the way maybe IEK treated them. I don't know the details, but that's what I hear from them. And some IEK members also think that it was unfortunate. Senior ones, I've talked to very many senior people. I've been in the system for a long time. I'm durable, as I said yesterday. And maybe I'll use this to see if this can come together, and it will be a great day for Kenya.
All right, thank you for answering that, engineer. So a member here is asking, do you attend the AGMs of this noble institution? And when was the last time that you attended? That is just a member who has sent me that question to ask you. I think generally he's, yes, you can hear me?
Yeah, I'm okay, yes.
Yeah, I think generally he wants to know what's your consequent involvement with IEK, especially in attending the IEK activities. Specifically now he's asking the AGMs, and when is the last time you attended?
The last AGM I attended was 3 weeks ago, I think, at Nairobi Club. But
oh yeah, the SGM.
Yeah, but I'm a keen supporter of IEK. I have participated in many things. Actually, I've been a member of the training and what do you call it, human resource development capacity building for 10 years. I was in that particular section in charge of human resource development. It was me who was contacting all the engineers to come and give talks to engineers. And I ended up, I think, giving a presentation on report writing. So I've had very, very active participation in IEK activities. Now, AGMs are okay. You go and attend them. Not much happens in those AGMs, but because we are actually not a political organization, we are a technical organization, and the professional input that we have had and that I have enjoyed myself when I was in charge of human resource development in the training and capacity building committee is evident. Now, the other meetings, maybe I've not attended. I attended the Mombasa meeting. Yes, the last Mombasa meeting, I think it was in December, I don't know, but I attended the last meeting. I attended the regional meeting, which was sponsored by UNESCO. And so I have been in touch. And I've told them that I'm at their disposal, particularly in the human resource development, being so much aligned to teaching. So actually, that is the position.
All right. So members, you're welcome to ask a question. If you have a question to Engineer OKAKA, he's vying for the presidency of IEK. So that ideally means he's the person who pulls the shots at IEK. So this is your chance to ask any question that you may have. If on Monday he gets elected, he takes the mantle. So what do you want to ask him? Yetonga, you have a question? You can unmute your mic and ask. Engineer Utwani.
Engineer, what is your take about the rolled out program, graduate internship program that has been rolled out by Engineers Board of Kenya? And are you aware that there is a mentorship application form from ABK that you're supposed to register for it? If you're aware, have you registered to mentor some graduate engineers in mechanical, aeronautical field? Or and how many of your students at Kenyatta University really know about IEK and are registered with IEK? student membership?
I don't know the figures offhand, but I was at KU. I was a chairman for 5 years, mechanical engineering department. Let me start with what happened more recently. I was concerned about the plight of girl engineers. Engineer, my current chairman engineer, and invited a mentorship meeting which was very kindly attended by Engineer Mwende, who agreed to come and address our girls, talk about engineering, tell them about mentorship. Number two, I'm aware of those mentorship programs that have been, I think, brought out by EBK. I was given a form. I was actually sent a form by EBK, but at that time I was engaged in a problem in Machakos. So I told them, for this year, let me actually handle the KAU transition problems. In general, rather committing myself to this mentorship thing, which I may not have enough time to spend there. Recently, we are having problems with graduate engineers who are teaching. The Dean of School of Engineering in the school board and all the members decided that I should actually be in charge of mentorship programs, and which have started working very hard on to help them obtain accreditation, registration skills. And what we have done so far, I have gone around to see where they can get skills and also see their skill levels which should be upgraded. It has come to pass that even within our engineering school, within even our, production units, within even our development programs, we can identify the skills which would help them gain some points towards accreditation. Now, the problem is now, we don't want to release them for a whole year because we don't have staff. And so, we have, I think, quantified, we have said 3 months during the break, you are going to be attached to the Kenyatta University Hospital, who are installing the cold rooms, who are putting on so many things which are engineering related. And then we look at these, we consult with EBK, and then we shall put a tick and hope that by the end of the day, this would add up to the period that EBK requires and the skills that are necessarily covered. Now, students at Kenyatta University, I think three, I don't know the numbers, but I know of no student, I think in mechanical engineering, whose form have not signed. And during the last annual conference in Mombasa, 6 students attended, yes, under the students' mentorship, and they presented a paper. They presented a paper there.
Wonderful.
Now, and earlier on, you know, the Chinese were giving money for people to do some things, and then they pay for them or they help them. The VC that time sent me to represent him at the presentation ceremony, resulting from the hard work that our students had done there and produced something. And we got a certificate plus some funds also. But I think it was this most famous hotel in Westlands. I don't know what it's called. Where Obama was. I don't know. Yeah, well, something. And so we are actively engaged. We are actively engaged. And then, you see, we have got a center, Chandaria Center at Kenyatta University, which is actually in charge of converting students' projects into maybe viable and usable and sellable items. And every time that we have got student project presentations, which I've been in charge of, I invite the director and the technocrats who come over, and then we identify the projects which are developable every year, and then the students continue with them in the promotion and development of this noble profession called engineering. So we are made, but we are of course limited with time, and we're also limited with manpower, and we are limited with resources. But we have received a lot of support, and we have received a lot of enthusiasm, and we have been able to find a lot of interest in engineering. And one thing which is interesting, though the girls are very few, I hope I have not heard about this one in a different sense, but they are doing better than boys. They are very diligent in engineering. Those whom we have done, you know, they don't fail, and most of them are actually quite a few get quite a number get upper class second. They're very good. I don't know.
Yeah, that is wonderful. I hope they will continue being motivated and mentored to greater heights.
Thank you very much.
All right, engineer. Why can't we give you 2-3 minutes so that you can take a breather and maybe drink some water, and then we come back for more questions a bit.
Sorry?
Can we take 2-3 minutes so that you take a breather?
Thank you very much.
In 2 minutes, we'll be back.